Hello, my presentation will be on generalist social work practice with the elderly by Pullen, and it's taken from session 7. 3 big ideas from the reading are demographic challenges and changes occurring with older adults, policy issues related to the provision and availability of services to older adults, and skills and knowledge needed for effective practice as social workers. Now back to the first idea, demographic changes and challenges occurring with older adults. The reading talks about increase in elderly population from 40,229,000 in 2010 to 72,092,000 in 2030. It also talks about the social and economic demands of aging as a result of this increase in population, which is related to healthcare costs related to social service provision and delivery, and costs related to social security. It also talks about older people being ignored in social programs and interventions, elderly not being given the priority that they deserve compared to children, families, and youth. It also talks about social work being defined by these changes in the future, because we would need to develop strategies to take on board these challenges or these changes as they occur, and that there is a need for us to start planning to address this changing demographics and the challenges that would arise as a result of these changes. The second one is a policy issue. It talks about increase in seniors, and as a result of that, the potential for them to consume a great share of the resources due to declining healthcare costs and social service needs. It also talks about financial limitations which impact provision of healthcare services, which impacts housing, transportation services, income, social security, and the like. It also talks about older adult services not being given priority, like children and family programs, even in the government policies that are created. It also talks about the existence of certain policies for the protection of older adults, like the Patient Self-Determination Act, which talks about advanced directives and the need for end-of-life planning. It also talks about the Older Americans Act and Elder Justice Act, which look at social justice issues facing older adults and human rights protection mechanisms to ensure that older adults are able to live their life in dignity. The second aspect talks about skills, tools needed to provide effective generalist social work practice for older adults. It talks about the need for social workers to be knowledgeable in various subject matters. To be effective practitioners, they need to be knowledgeable in areas of law, advanced directives, end-of-life planning, stress in family caregiving. They need to be knowledgeable in areas of case management and other competencies which relate to their service deliveries of their practice. It talks about the need for social workers to be competent in cultural competence to address diversity issues as a result of the increase in immigration and the fact that you'll be having a much more diverse adult population in the future. It also talks about highlights on areas of competence for generally social workers, such as the Council of Social Work Education's competencies, skills and areas of professional practice that we need to develop to be viewed as effective social workers. One of the challenges related to this aspect was also the area of the limited number of social workers interested in working with the elderly is a potential problem, and that there is a need to be able to train a lot of other social workers who would be interested in working in this area, especially with a view of addressing the population increase and the demands that would potentially cast on social work service provision. It also talks about my relationship to social work and my practice, the relationship of this work to social work and my practice. This paper covers all the relevant skills and competencies needed to effectively work with this population. It discusses appropriate use of social work tools needed in different contexts with older adults. It highlights relevant tools such as echo maps, case management tips and skills, assessment tools like mini mental status test and geriatric depression skill that are needed for interventions with older adults. It also informs my practice as a social worker who is interested in working with the elderly population, because it gives me materials to provide materials that will guide me in tools that I can use in my work. Three practice recommendations from this work would be the need for us to conduct research on theories, techniques, and to apply this knowledge in different contexts as a way of strengthening our practice. There is a need for us to also seek to improve our practice by being knowledgeable in different areas of practice like policies, resources for older adults, and end-of-life practice planning. And it also requires a constant cycle of reflection, practice, and learning for us to be able to generate new ideas and put them into practice. It also talks about the need for us to seek supportive supervision and mentoring from other practitioners working with the same population.